This episode is sponsored by ODP Business Solutions, built to address all your facility needs. Visit odpbusiness.com today. Are you running your business, or is it running you? Too many owners and managers spend their days trapped in what we half-jokingly call the hamster wheel. Always busy, always exhausted, but never really moving forward, never going anywhere. Because we think about it, the emails never stop, the phone keeps ringing, clients, they have crisis all the time, and it feels like they need your attention right now. So you're working harder than ever, yet somehow the big picture goals, the growth, profitability, freedom, remain out of reach. So what is the solution? Well, today we have with us Dean Mercado. He's an expert business coach. He knows some stuff about being busy. Is that true, Dean?
Yes, I'd say so from firsthand experience as well.
I know it's being busy is life, but we have to control that, don't we? And focus on doing things right for our business. So I know this topic is important to you. Tell us why that is.
Sure, I'm happy to. Now, the concept of busyness versus business, it's been around forever. It's an age-old trap. I've been coaching on this issue for over 20 years. It's been seducing business owners for generations. So this is nothing new. However, today we're going to put a little bit of a different spin on it because with the onset of AI, that has really complicated everything. Now, all of a sudden, we've got this big behemoth of a busyness tool out there that's going to wreak havoc on a lot of businesses, whether you realize it's happening or not. The key is to recognize when it is, recognize what it's doing, recognize what it's creating for you, both good and bad. So here's the truth. Busyness equals activity. Business equals outcomes. Busyness, activity, business, outcomes. As a business owner myself, I understand the importance of outcomes. I need to move the needle. I need something to happen, right? Otherwise, I don't eat.
As the modern workplace evolves, organizations must evolve as well. They need a partner that understands this new world of work. We are that partner. We are ODP Business Solutions, formerly Office Depot Business Solutions Division. More than just office supplies, ODP is a force for change, helping address technology transformation, sustainability, innovative workspace design, cleaning, break room, and more, making organizations everywhere say, oh, when they see how much more we can do. ODP Business Solutions.
And many of you as small business owners out there can resonate with that. You'll understand that. AI is what I call an accelerator, right? It basically accelerates everything. It's like throwing fuel on a fire. If you find yourself stuck in busyness and you throw fuel on that busyness fire, what's going to happen, right? You're going to get a little bit more busyness going on. If you throw that fuel on a business that is doing actual business, that's focused on the right things, you're going to see the business not only grow, but start to scale. So this concept has been a major, what I call the boon versus the bane conversation. It could be a huge boon for you, meaning it can make things great, or it could be a huge bane for you, where it's really holding you in the quicksand, right? Keeping your feet buried in the quicksand where you just can't seem to get what it is you want. Now, why is this happening? And why does it continue to happen? Well, identify 4 ways and 4 reasons this is happening. And the number one way in my book is the dopamine hit, right? Have you ever filled your day with like all kinds of little tasks so you could check them off, right? Every time you check off one of these little busyness tasks, you get a little dopamine hit. It makes us feel good, right? So that is what it is, folks. That's the way our brains are wired. Recognizing that and learning how to deal with that is very important. Second biggest reason it's happening to us is procrastination. If you ever find yourself buried in busy work because you don't really want to face what you need to face, right? Procrastination is our way of defending ourselves, right? It happens automatically in our system. It stops us from getting hurt. Right? So it's there for a reason, procrastination, but many times we're using it for the wrong reasons, right? A third big reason it's happening is fear, whether that's fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, whatever that is, fear of letting go. those fears manifest their way into busyness in a big way. And then the fourth reason I say it happens all the time is validation. Have you ever seen anybody, Jeff, when they wear this big badge of honor they call the "I'm so busy"? Right? Oh, look at me. Look how busy I am. I must be doing the right things. I'm so busy. And they want the whole world to know how busy they are. So they go on social media and they scream from the rooftops, "Oh, I'm so cool. I'm so busy." But are you making money? Are you profitable? Are you scaling? All right? Are you hitting your goals? Are you on proper path for your vision and your mission? Right? Another story. So what I've come up with is what I call the shift. And these are 3 principles. When I coach, I go at my clients with these kind of things to get them to shift their mindset from busyness to business. Now, the first one, and what I call is the most important one of this list, has more to do with your head and your mindset. It's shifting your thinking to outcomes. Outcomes, right? What do I want to have happen? Right? So a question I'll often ask is, hey, if we got together a year from now, right? And I was to ask you, I was going to ask you before we did, I was going to ask you, hey, what would have to happen between now and a year from now for you to come to me and say, Dean, this was the most amazing year I could have ever had? Right? So when we think in outcomes that way, it tends to drive the things we do during the day. We don't just do things because it crosses every T and dots every I. We do things because it moves the needle. I look at the 80-20 rule here a lot. You've probably heard of that, right, Jeff? The 80-20 rule. It's perfectly applicable here. 20% of the things you're doing during your day are getting you 80% of your results. Think about that. What the heck are you doing with the other 80% of your time? Right? Crossing T's, dotting I's, getting you pretty much close to nowhere. So when you start seeing profit and you start thinking client retention and you start thinking employee stability, you're thinking the right way. You're thinking outcomes, right? So AI can be really powerful here. And this is where we have to be careful. It could be the boon or the bane, right? If you point it at the right outcomes, it can definitely help you get there faster. If you point it at just doing what you're doing every day, just because, there's 12 more T's that need to be crossed. It's just, like you mentioned earlier, Jeff, a hamster wheel, right? And I would say it's even worse. It's the hamster wheel that's stuck in sludge, that's stuck in mud now. It's stuck in quicksand, right? Because AI can be that overwhelming to most people, all right? So that's the first one. If you start shifting your mindset to thinking, what do I really want to have happen? What's really important to us here? What's going to move the needle? What's going to bring the profitability to the number we need it to be? What's going to bring the revenue to where we need it to be? What's going to bring us the team we need to have on board, right? And the rest of the stuff is busyness. I hate to say it that way, right? Second big principle I want to throw out there. You got to think in systems, folks. Stop hiring people and then figuring out what systems you need for that particular person to be able to do the job. When we do our Coloniona methodology with businesses, it's all about we figure out the systems we need first, and then we find the team to run those systems, not the other way around. So we build the systems we need to run the business at the profitability levels we need. So we think in systems first. Everything is very strategic and systematic. Now, AI could be a huge boon here. Where I've used AI to write SOPs for my clients in seconds. Seconds. We answer a few critical questions. We give it a structure, and boom, voila, we have an awesome SOP that can do amazing things, right? So yes, it could be a huge boon. But if you're capturing garbage systems, garbage in, garbage out, garbage in, garbage out, what do you think you're going to get, folks? Right? So thinking in systems and proper systems the right way that are based on what you want to have happen, the outcomes you're looking to accomplish. So we figure out our outcomes, then we build the systems to accomplish those outcomes. Third big principle, you got to think in controls, metrics, numbers. How are you measuring this to make sure that it's really doing what you needed it to do? Is it moving you closer to what you said you want? Or isn't it? Right? And this is not the point in time to worry about how cool you look. Oh, yeah, I'm hitting all my goals. If they're garbage goals, folks, who cares? Good for you. Whoopee. You're still hungry. And that bothers me. I don't want you to be hungry. I want you to accomplish your dreams. That's a wonderful place to be. All right. So we measure what matters. Busyness measures things like how many hours we worked, how many jobs we completed, how busy we look. Business measures the ROI, right? The cost per lead, right? The revenue per technician, the client churn, things that are going to actually move the needle, right? So with AI, you can not only surface these numbers easier, but you can track them better in real time, right? And if you learn how to prompt, hence go back to some of the stuff Jeff and I talked about months back with how to prompt AI properly, you could really amplify what matters, not what flatters, right? You amplify what matters, not what flatters. Big difference. So in wrapping this up, Jeff, busyness does not equal business. And I hope all of you get that. AI, in the age of AI, the great amplifier, that truth has never been more urgent. So this conversation, I was hesitant in the beginning to go here. I know how important it is, but a lot of people, the first thing they're going to say, oh, I know that already. Yeah, bullcrap. I'm calling you out on it. Those of you who are saying, oh, I know that, you're probably the one who's doing it the worst, right? You don't want to face reality. You want to grow and scale? You've got to face reality. It's not about your ego here. It's about doing the right things in the right way so that you get the right results at the right time. So I'll leave you with this note. One saying I always say all the time, when you respect your business, it will respect you back. Think about that one. If you respect your business, it will respect you back. So on that note, Jeff, I'll turn it back to you. Right?
I was so busy doing some other stuff, I wasn't paying that much attention.
You almost made me spit the water out there. Oh, man.
Dean, I find it interesting because I've worked with people who always complain about how busy they are.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's
a badge of honor.
Some may look at being busy as successful, and I guess that's a personal issue they've got to deal with, because if they're busy and they enjoy it and they're successful as well, there you go. Maybe that's where they want to be. But tell me this, what are some, you kind of covered it, but what are some obvious signs that this is a problem for somebody? Maybe things that they don't see themselves.
Yeah. I mean, one of the first things, your business tends to act like a mirror. It reflects back at you what you're doing, what you're putting out there. The energy you put forward is coming right back at you, whether that's how your employees are behaving with you, how your employees are approaching their work, your revenue, your profitability. Nothing kills me more than to see a 7-figure business where the owner is taking home $20,000 for themselves after all said and done. So,
but these are smart people. These are business owners. How do they fall into that in the first place?
Well, I mean, everybody needs to be working with a coach.
Okay.
That's one of the first things I'll always say, because many times when you're in the middle of it, it's hard to see it. But when somebody's on the outside looking in, and the coach doesn't have to be somebody with 20, 30 years coaching experience, many times it's so obvious to everyone around you, except you, because you're the one in the middle of it. You can't see. So, even when you look at sports, I say it all the time, even the best sports athletes have numerous coaches around them all the time. Baseball, right? We're in baseball season now. You have the hitting coach, you have the throwing coach, the fielding coach, this coach, to that coach, the strength coach. Coaches for everything, right? Business owners need that too. So surrounding yourself with people who aren't afraid to call you out and to point out when they see these things. If you're tracking the proper metrics, though, that should be a big telltale sign for you that you're doing some of these things, right? I tend to do a lot of reflection, where I'll reflect back. Every day I do this. I'll reflect back what worked today, what didn't work today, what could I do better tomorrow, right? That if I was to have that in place, how could tomorrow shape up for me? right? So I tend to do these lessons learned exercises all the time to reflect back. If you're not willing to do that, chances are you're stuck in the hamster wheel in the muck,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Now
that
that's
hamster
where
wheel.
that's where the fear comes in, and people
Yeah.
are afraid. They don't want to admit that they might have been wrong, that they
Okay.
might be doing something wrong, right?
So let's say someone is stuck in that hamster wheel. They realize it. What is the first big thing they can do to get out of it?
Track your time.
Okay.
Yeah. Many times I've gone to clients who are stuck in things like that, and sometimes they don't want to hear it.
Like write it
So,
down, what they're
yeah,
doing and
write it
how they're.
down in 15-minute increments
Hmm.
throughout your
Yeah.
entire day. And then do that for 3 days straight. And then what we'll do is we'll take that information and we're going to plug it into AI. And I'm going to have it analyze it for you and tell you where you're stuck in busyness and where you're doing business. And there's an easy way to figure that out. When you start looking at things that are moving the needle and things that are not. So the best way, Jeff, yeah, you got to track your time. And a lot of people don't want to do that. And it's like, but yet you'll do all these other things that are doing nothing for you, right? If you can whittle down your day, and maybe those of you, whether you believe in the book or not, shout out to the 4-hour work week. Whether that's possible or not for most people is a whole nother story. But the concept is real, because most of the things we're doing all day are not doing anything for us, right? So when we start looking and tracking those things, we start to recognize them, right? And you have to judge for yourself what you really want. Do you want to look cool? Or do you want to actually be rich? Right?
Yeah. So 4-hour work week means you're done by noon on Monday, then you're on the golf course the rest of the week. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it could be. It depends on your business, depends on what you put in place. If you
Mhm.
put the right systems and then the right team in place and you're the owner, you should not be stuck in the mud anymore with your team like that. Your team should be running your team. Meaning, like, you have an operations manager on staff, they're running those parts of the business, not you. If you find yourself still involved in every single little decision and doing everything, you're still doing busyness. And your chances of scaling really start to slim down, right? And we wonder why we're not improving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Very
those
much so.
watching the program, maybe some self-analysis, some honesty is needed to recognize this and then do something about it and spend that time on the golf course if you're not already doing it. I guess that's kind of a theme here.
Yeah.
Golfing is good, busyness
Golf
is
is good.
bad.
Golf is good from the standpoint that when you're out there in the quiet, we're not used to having things quiet around us anymore.
True.
So when you find yourself able to actually think a little clearer. At least I do when I'm out there.
Hmm.
It's so I recommend it. But to each their own.
Exactly. Any final words to close with?
Yes, be serious about this stuff, right? Because busyness does not equal business. Otherwise, why are you in business in the first place? Are you in business to truly succeed? Or you're in business so that you look cool and you could say, wow, look how busy I am, right? So at some point, get real with yourself, get honest with yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. See, at my age now, Jeff, I don't really care what anybody thinks anymore like that. It doesn't bother me anymore. 30 years ago, yeah, it did bother me a lot. And I let it stop me a lot. So that's a little bit of an advanced wisdom for some of you. Don't wait till you're my age. You don't have to. Learn it now. If I can go back and tell my 20-something self, yeah, that would be what I would tell myself. Stop worrying about what everybody else thinks. Figure out what you want and go get it, and remove everything else out of the way. So I hope that helps.